Dear followers and friends, from wherever you are, good evening. Today is the D-Day. It has been almost 2 months that we have announced that tonight, actually, that we are going to have a festival of books written by Rwandans, especially on Rwanda. The aim of this initiative is actually to give away information, to share with the public the information on Rwanda, especially the information that has been hidden from the public. So this evening, we have 6 presenters in our program, and these are, some of them are here with us in our studios, others have sent their messages. These are Jeanne Habyarimana, in her book, My Dad, My Vital Part Taken Away, Homage to the Beloved Juvenal Habyarimana. The second one is Emma K. Emerance Kayijuka, in her book, The Terrible Truth About the Truth, a story of a Tutsi of Rwandan genocide survivor. Senjumva Celestin is with us in our studios. He will represent some of his books. Actually, he has many of them. So it's up to him to choose which one he is going to present. After him, we have Bakunda Ikicharo, or Dr. Bakunda Ikicharo Pierre Celestin, who has also authored many books in French, in Kinyarwanda, I think, in Kinyarwanda, I don't know, in English and French. So tonight, or this afternoon, he's going to present one of his books. Rugomboka Jean Damascene and Jean-Jacques Bosco are here with us also to present and to tell us, to share with us what they have written in their books. So before starting, of course, I'm going to play a message, an introductory message sent to us from one of our friends who could not make it tonight.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Festival of Books written on Rwanda by Rwandans 2024. My name is Nancy McMillan and I'm a Canadian from Vancouver. I'm friends with Jean-Jacques Bosco and people who love Rwanda, and I'm honored to make this opening speech for this book festival. Everyone knows that books are the way culture is conveyed, communication is done, and that not only Rwandans, but people from across the world should read what happened in Rwanda so that they can be well informed. Rwanda is a country with a rich history, culture, good people, but also from time to time has experienced some turmoil. This Festival of Books Written on Rwanda is a suitable platform for Rwandan authors to present their books to the whole world, as well as to sell their books to numerous readers. And it is a great opportunity for readers to get inspired by what these authors have been providing for them as brain and soul nutrients. Not only that, many people can also get inspired on how to write their own books in the near future. I sincerely believe that through this Festival of Books written by Rwandans on Rwanda, people will connect with each other in different ways that they would not have otherwise. And we hope that the Festival of Books that has been launched by these organizers, namely Jean-Jacques Bosco and Shaste Kuhende, along with their contributors and volunteers, will be the first ignition of a fire that will last forever for new generations to come. Thank you again for joining us.
That is the message from Nancy, from our friend Nancy, who actually is welcoming everybody to this program. So I'm not taking too long because it has been a long day. But previously, we had a program in Kinyarwanda, and then we had a program in French. Now it is up to our English speakers actually to start this program with us. I'm going to start by Jean Habyarimana, who said who sent a message just to tell us what or to tell us about what she wrote in her book.
Duharanire twese amajyambere muvoma yakizatera imbere tuyikesha umukuru w'igihugu Habyarimana mugabo udacogora muvoma yakizahora imbere MRND.
My Dad, My Vital Part, Taken Away. In this testimony book, Jean Habyarimana delves into the memories of her childhood and her youth, talks about her school days, of her marriage, and especially of her father, who was everything to her. She recalls the fateful day when the plane carrying her father was the object of a terrorist attack. The farewells to this loved one aggrieved her deeply, but above all, she is revolted by the lies and the misinformation of a certain press about his assassination, as well as the suffocation of the truth by world policy makers. War, its horrors and exile are not to be outdone. The hassles suffered by her mother, tested and tried, and which are far from ending, do not leave her indifferent, like the shenanigans surrounding the insurance file of the presidential plane. In addition to her memories, she asked her father's friends and acquaintances to tell her what they know about him. Their testimonies taught her a lot. They reveal details that she had never observed about her father, and rightly so, because he was with his collaborators, both civil and military, more than with the daughter that she was. According to Jean Habyarimana, her father had a complete life, as testified to by the historical and biographical data that make up the last chapter of this book. Jean Habyarimana is the second born of the late President Habyarimana. She lives in France.
Memories of my childhood and youth. My name is Jeanne Habyarimana. I was born on 23rd October 1965 to Agathe Kanziga and Juvenal Habyarimana in Kigali, in that beautiful country called Rwanda. My father was serving in the Rwandese regular army, then called Garde Nationale or National Guard, and had reached the rank of major. I'm the second born of a family of 8 children, 3 girls and 5 boys. My childhood was full of happiness and peace. It was simple but very intense. I grew normally, not in opulence, yet I did not lack anything. My father used to give me some pocket money, but not large amounts. It was just enough for my needs. Finally, my father did not like luxury.
My dad, my vital part taken away. Homage to the beloved Juvenal Habyarimana is a fantastic book written by Jean Habyarimana. You can buy it from Edition Scribe, owned by Gaspard Musabyimana in the city of Brussels in Belgium, or you send an email to chaste.gahonde at chaste.gahonde@gmail.com, or to Jean-Jacques Bosco, whose email is jjbosco01@gmail.com. Buy this book and support the book and the author, Jean Habyarimana.
Mu Rwanda dufite ubumwe n'amahoro, duharanire twese amajyambere, muvoma yacu izatera imbere, tuyikeshe umukuru w'igihugu Habyarimana, mugabo udacogora, muvoma yacu izahora imbere, muvoma yacu dukunda.
Tuzamenya gusoma mu Rwanda, tuzafatikara mu Rwanda, tuzatsura umubano mu Rwanda.
After the message from Jean Habyarimana about her book, I'm going to invite Mr. Nsengiyumva Celestin. Mr. Nsengiyumva Celestin, if you hear us.
Yes, okay. I do hear you.
Yes. It's your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chaste Gahonde. Thank you, Jean-Jacques Bosco. Thank you, all dear colleagues. Thank you, Alois Simhunga. Thank you, Celestin Bakundi Kicharo. I'm grateful to be invited on this forum. My presentation is going to deal with my 4 books. Actually, my first book, which deals almost exclusively with Rwanda, is called Rwandan Conflict, and it asks, have we reached the dead end? It's clear that the Rwandan conflict has led our country into a dead end. As we speak today, all Rwandans the nation of Rwanda is embarrassed to see the president of the country getting involved in a vigorous electoral campaign, running or playing against himself. And if that were not enough, the president is also his own referee. This is, I think, a very serious embarrassment. And that is the dead end I'm talking about in this book. This war was unnecessary. It was conducted in a manner which did not contribute to any kind of settlement peaceful settlement between the main ethnic groups of the country. It was fought along lines which were not declared, because what they declared and what they achieved, what the invaders declared and what they achieved are completely different. And so we are in a dead end. We are in a dead end, and the Rwandans are still yearning for a time when they will be able to come together again as a nation. As I said, the dead end is demonstrated today by the electoral process we are witnessing today, in which the president is virtually running against himself, and in which he is his own referee. So that is my first book. To say that we have the country was involved in a war, which was first an invasion, that is an aggression, because it involved violation of an internal border. That was in 1990. Then in 1991, the war transformed, it metamorphosed, or it became a civil war, which ended with the signing of a peace agreement. And the peace agreement could not be implemented because in 1994, this peace agreement was again violated by the people who had invaded the country from Uganda to wage an undeclared war. And that part of the war became a war for power grab. So that is, in a nutshell, what this book is talking about. So it's Rwandan conflict. Have we reached the dead end? This one. Then there are three more books. There is another book also in English. The title is African Great Lakes Countries, From Independence to Deception and Instability. Our countries, the former Belgian possession in Central Africa, which were Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi. We received, Rwanda and Burundi became independent in 1962. Congo had received its independence from Belgium in 1960. But it was just a nominal independence. It was a deception. We were deceived into thinking that we were independent, but we did not receive the means to be independent countries. We were not economically able to assert our freedom. On top of that, economic decision-making remained in the hands of foreign powers. Belgium was still controlling the economic resources of Congo. As for Rwanda and Burundi, the only international marketable goods were coffee, some tea, and some minerals, including tin. And all these, the prices of all these raw material, or what some people call commodities, the prices were fixed outside Rwanda, outside Burundi, and outside Congo. As you know, the International Coffee Organization has its headquarters where? In London. So this is a book which talks about the deception of Africa's independence. The deception lies in the fragmentation of our countries to make them non-viable economic entities. That is where the deception lies. So we are nominally independent, but we have no economic decision-making power. The other book, this one, it is in French. As you know, I'm French-speaking, but I live in America. So that's why most of my writing work was in English. This one talks about Rwanda. It was written in the wake of the annual celebrations of the so-called Kwibohora, that is liberation, actually. But we were not liberated at all. In fact, our country was invaded. It was taken over, conquered, and it was placed under military rule until this day. Our ruler, the president of Rwanda, has been in power for 30 years. I'm also counting the 6 years of the interim government by President Bizimungu, who had no power at all. We all know that. So the president of our country is in the driving seat. He has been there for the last 30 years. And beware, he wants another 5 years. And probably after that, yet another 5. So this book deals in French. It deals with Rwanda invasion, libération, et occupation. I try to show, to prove, to bring out evidence showing that this country is under military rule. And my last book, small one here, titled The African Great Lakes Region, Political Violence and the Long Trail of Refugees to America.
Can you show us yes, so that people can see it.
Yeah, this is
thank you.
Yes, this is it. And this deals with the instability in which our country have been engulfed in, which lead population to be uprooted and thrown out of their livelihood into neighboring countries. Refugees in Burundi who have recently migrated to America had been refugees since 1972, when there was the first unrecognized internationally a genocide which was not recognized internationally, but which the people of Burundi do recognize because it was in their flesh. And of course, the refugees from Rwanda, many of them were repatriated in the wake of the military victory of the RPF in Rwanda. But many other refugees left the country. I'm one of them. Some of you members of this panel were also refugees from this cycle of violence. And we, as you know, we spent many years in refugee camps in our neighboring countries and beyond. Rwandan refugees have gone as far away from Rwanda as South Africa, and you find Rwandan refugees almost in every European countries, and of course, here in America and Canada. So that political violence is explained or is accounted for by the structural instability of our countries and by a violent competition for government resources. That is actually a violent competition for power. So these are my 4 books, and I would be prepared to answer any question. If there is no question, then I would recommend that you buy these books and read, because if you do, you are going to know a lot about the plight, the problems in which our region has been engulfed in. That is the countries of Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and also the instrumentality of the foreign powers, that is the Western powers, because friends, you all know that the main thrust, the main purpose of the war in Rwanda was not about Rwanda itself. It was about the minerals of the neighboring country of Congo. So Rwandans died in a mass. They were killed massively. There was a massive violation of international humanitarian law, including genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, on behalf of the minerals of Democratic Republic of Congo, which were needed in the nascent or the new industries, the industry of the mobile phones. And now, because there is another war going on in North Kivu, this time it's about the minerals which are going to be needed by the industry of the electric batteries for cars. So these are information you can get if you buy these books. And I want to thank you for having listened to me. And I strongly recommend that you buy these books. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ansenjumva. I was looking around in the panel. I didn't see anybody raising hand to ask a question. And I was looking also in our audience online to see if there is any question. I didn't see any. However, I might have one. Just focusing on the last book, the one on Rwandan conflict. Have we reached the dead end? Actually, it's a question. That is a question. The book, the title of the book is the question. So I would like to, I want you to answer. Help us to answer that question. Is it true that we have reached the end, or we can still, if we not pay attention, we might even fall lower?
Yes, we have reached this war has come to a dead end, not Rwanda per se, yes, because we are still trying to find a way out of this dead end. And the way out of this dead end would be to organize some kind of truth-telling. We need Rwandans to hear what went wrong, to hear the lies which they have been served and for the last 30 years, to hear why there was a war at all. Because you see, as the RPF launched its invasion against the Republic of Rwanda, the issue of the problem of refugees had been dealt with, and an agreement had been signed by the government of Rwanda, the then government of Rwanda, the government of Uganda, under the auspices of, or the facilitation of the regional office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. It has its headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and also under the auspices of the Organization of African Unity, which also was headquartered in Addis Ababa. And I can tell you as a witness, because I was working there in the embassy of Rwanda, and I was the one who delivered the visa for the representative of these organizations. And the visa I stamped in their passports were, we call them in French, visa de courtoisie. So the problem had been solved. What was remaining was to get the refugees to climb on trucks to take them back home. But on the day when the trucks came to the refugee camps in Nakivale and other camps, the refugees had received an instruction not to climb on these trucks, instruction to ignore these trucks, and the trucks had to go back. And
yes, then, yes, we're happy to have you. You are like a library, actually, because you have so many information, and as you have worked on those issues, you have dealt with those matters. So we thank you very much, and I encourage people to read this book, to buy, starting from me. Actually, I'm going to get a copy.
Yes, just these books are available on Amazon.
Yes. Yeah. Just to tell the people who are following us, you can see the links of the books in the description of this video. If you are following just on YouTube, you can see, and just in the description there is a link that can help you to buy this copy, a copy of this book. So in the same category, talking about the conflict in the Great Lakes region, I'm going to pass the message from another author who wrote about exactly what happened in Rwanda. But
I have a question, my friend.
Yes, please. If there is a question, yes, of course.
Yeah, I'd like to ask my friend Celestin whether he has identified the hidden actors who pushed our country to the dead end. Did you analyze who is behind this situation?
Yes. What brought us to the dead end was that the will or the determination of RPF to achieve unilateral military victory, total military victory. And in the process, they denied themselves an interlocutor because they would be interlocutor or moved into Congo or Tanzania. And so the president finds himself without an interlocutor. What he has what Professor Rejoignez has called les demoiselles d'honneur, the so-called opposition between inverted commas. And as I told you in this presentation, at this very moment, the president is engaged in a vigorous an electoral campaign trail, but he's the only one. He is the only one playing on the level ground. The ground is leveled only for him. So he's running against himself. And he is his own referee because he has appointed the so-called Electoral Commission. And as we know, this is not going to be the first time. The elections in Rwanda are not elections at all. It is like a circus. And, the president awards himself. Last time he awarded himself 98% of the votes. In 2003, I understand, former Prime Minister Faustin Twagiramungu had won, but the president proclaimed himself the winner. So we are going to assist at the same scenario, whereby the president, who has no shame to run against himself, this is an embarrassment. This is not a democratic process. I don't know how to call it, but it is. You can give it any other name except democratic. So I think that is the main thrust of the embarrassment we are facing today, which is the dead end, except if Rwandans can find a way to organize a large national meeting for truth-telling, and also to consider mutual forgiveness, and also to organize a transitional arrangement to a democratic process, a transitional arrangement towards a democratic process in which candidates can run freely for positions, announce their political programs, and allow the people of Rwanda to choose among these candidates and these political programs. Professor Bakunda, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, but I want really to know, to deepen, and to know exactly who is behind, this act of taking Rwanda is like a bridge, to come to Africa and to loot the natural resources of Congo, and I think they are actors, which we call invisible actors, who are behind this strong man of Kigali.
Yes, of course, there are foreign actors. As you know, while our countries have minerals, we don't process these minerals. So we don't even know which minerals we have or which ones we don't have. And so there are foreign actors who are very powerful and who determine the winner or the loser of any kind of fighting taking place in Africa. The Africans cannot turn around and claim victory for themselves, because any victory in the African context is handed to the winner on a golden plate by foreign powers. That is also a factor of the impasse we are finding ourselves in. As long as the foreign actors have a unilateral interest in our resources, in our minerals, then they are going to determine who gets into the State House and who gets kicked out of the State House. And it is also a very strong obstacle to democratic process, because if they think that such and such candidate is going to nationalize, let's say, the minerals, then they won't allow him into State House. That happens into Congo, and that happens also in Rwanda, because the Rwanda has the keys of the Congolese El Dorado. The Republic of Rwanda is the one guarding the huge door into the Congolese El Dorado.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think you have tried to answer. Of course, you cannot give all the answers. Actually, the answers are within the book. That's why we are calling people to buy the book,
yes.
So that they can find all the answers. So if we have to answer everything here, they will not buy it. and by the way, I want to remind the rules of the game. The rules of the game is that the presenter has 5 minutes for presenting, and then there is one question, only one question. So we have been okay out of the. It's okay. It's fine. So we are talking about the conflict within the Great Lakes region, and now the next presenter is a woman, a Rwandan woman, genocide survivor. Let us hear what she has written in her book.
Some time ago, one of my daughters, who was 14 years old at the time, said something that shocked me. She said she had suicidal thoughts. I remember I was standing by the door of her bedroom, and she was hiding half of her face in her blanket while crying. I asked her what was going on, and instead of explaining, she burst into tears. "You'll get better," I said, not knowing exactly how to comfort her, and I walked out of her room. Although I was overly concerned to see my daughter in that state, I guess she didn't see the reaction she had anticipated from a mom. She didn't say anything, but as a mother, I read a deep disappointment on her face, as if she wanted to tell me that I was a bad mother. In fact, a few months later, my daughter admitted that she was often surprised by my reactions as a mother. "You're not like other moms. You never take any of my concerns seriously. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm starting to question your motherliness." My daughter's accusations prompted me to question my parenting skills. She was right. I don't react like any of her friends' moms, or the moms she sees on television. Not because I don't have a heart like them, but because I grew up in a different environment. At my daughter's age, I didn't have a private room like she did. I walked and climbed mountains to go to school. I shared clothes with my sister Tabitha, and I didn't look good in any of them, for they were all too big for me, but I never complained. After the passing of my grandpa, I became my grandma's main caregiver, since she was totally dependent. I would walk to their house in the middle of the night, since I had to wait until I ate supper. There were no roads nearby. I walked on small paths among bushes and banana trees. I only knew where to step, thanks to my brain that had memorized every step, since I had traveled there more than 100 times. Like any other child, I was very scared of the dark, and I had invented a coping mechanism. I always imagined and convinced myself that my oldest brother Gomaniro was traveling with me, and believe it or not, that helped. I wished my troubles would happen only at night, because during the day there was a dog that was always standing in my way, staring at me. As a child, I thought that dog looked mean, as if he could change his angry face into a smiley face. I would always act nicely, and I smiled at the dog, thinking my good behavior would prevent me from being bitten by the dog. I spent nights with my grandma, and helped her to turn to the other side in bed. In the mornings, I would go collect wood for cooking, and would start a fire and do light cooking with Grandma's guidance. When I think about my childhood, I always remember how I was content with the little I had, and that makes me wonder why children today don't seem happy despite all the advantages they have. My experience with my grandparents is one of the many childhood stories I talk about when I chat with my daughter, and she listens with interest and asks me a million questions. When she asked me what I considered important for my children as a mother, I told her family unity is the first thing I wish for her and her sisters. The second I wish for them is to never, ever take anything for granted.
Although 3 months don't sound like a long time, they are long enough for Emma to lose almost everyone and everything. Mike and Emma will have to start life from scratch, surprisingly, with optimism and hope. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long before Emma and Mike started to realize that the end of the genocide doesn't mean the end of their trouble, the epiphany that would drive them into their exile. Now the question is, will Emma and Mike's dream of becoming Canadian citizens come true? Or are they once again about to face the terrible truth about the truth? As per Lac Dubé's song lyric, if you stand for the truth, you will always stand alone.
And you can now buy this book, The Terrible Truth About the Truth, a story of a Tutsi Rwandan genocide survivor, with a beautiful quote here: when home doesn't feel like home, and when abroad feels far from home, on Amazon. Again, it was written by Emma Kay, also known as Emerance Kaijuka.
Thank you very much for your attention. And that is a book, The Truth About the Truth. Actually, the horrible truth about the truth. Isn't it? That's what we have been living with. And of course, it is horrible. So now we have with us Professor Wakunda Chicharo, who is going to present his book. I think he has many, but he will choose one of them.
Yeah, thank you very much, my friend. My name is Bakunda Chicharo Pierre Celestin. I'm here in Lille. I wrote three books, in fact, and I will choose one of them if you like, but the one I saw you talked about is an old one, but it's you know, if I start by this one, for instance, I have 3 books here. This one is the result of my thesis, doctoral thesis, which generated this one. Okay, so this has the title of Les règles implicites de la société rwandaise et leurs impacts sur le développement social et politico-économique de 1898 à 1984. It's a book like this one, because this one is the son of this. And this one in English is called The Inferno of Rwanda, The Inferno of Implicit Rules. Okay, here I have another one, but this one is the recent one. It's, about Afrique berceau de l'humanité, or Africa, the cradle of humanity, from shadow to light, between the 15th and the 21st centuries. So now you have chosen to announce this one, the Rwanda, the Inferno of Implicit Rules. As a sociologist, I tried to analyze who is the Rwandan citizen. How can we, describe a Rwandan, in fact? And then I saw that we Rwandans have a way to hide who we are. We are like in double images. We have 2 images. We can behave like this today, and tomorrow we behave like this, or 1 hour after we behave otherwise. So I found out that the inter-ethnical hatred in Rwanda stems from the mental representations built by the Rwandans themselves. The Rwandese society is founded on occult and implicit values. This mixture brings about an almost double personality to any Rwandese. With this in mind, the Rwandese man becomes changeable, loses the logic transparency to the benefit of his own interest, or benefits, okay, and opt for the disguise of trust or lies. He set up a system in which implicit rules will generate clientelism and corruption in a hierarchical society. It's the arrogance and the contempt of the ones arouse this distrust of the others and the lack of tolerance and patience give way to hatred, a real break for the social and socio-economic development, and a destructive vector of the society. Even the influence of the Western civilization through education will not act on the personality of the Rwandese individual to transform the mentality and alter his jealousy as well as a hateful glance on the other. The contrary, the Western presence will increase the inter-Rwandese division in classifying the ones in a more favorable social scale in order to dominate the others by establishing an indirect administration. So hatred will, grow and grow again between Hutus and Tutsis, especially. And this will bring about again a competition of power which will bring about the revolution, the social revolution of 1959 to 1961. Then the man, the Rwandese himself, he will not really behave as somebody who can bring, light to make changes in a kind of way. All the Rwandese will have the possibility to share what they have produced. Rather, they will be taken into a situation of the ones who want to exploit the others using these implicit rules. If I can give you an example of implicit rules, I can say that I give you, for instance, my daughter, but with calculations, this daughter will help my sons to go to school, to go to university, because she will be married to an influential individual in the administration, for instance. And this is somewhat a way people behave in Rwanda, because they want to live on the expense of the others. One ethnic group is made of this kind of character. They want to live using this kind of, we call the Congolese, to call it ubwenge. So this is how things are. In the book, it's a kind of a message to show that Rwandese, the Rwandan people, can't get, this kind of pride of being themselves. They want to live on the behalf of others, especially the ones who were in power in Rwanda before the revolution, because they used to exploit the others, going to their field to cultivate, to circle, to do everything with a kind of manipulation, so that they will maybe give them something like milk or something like that. So the situation to change, we need to think twice and see whether we can consider the whole groups of Rwandans as, equal. Okay? I think the message is just to see how Rwandans can transform themselves into modern people who cannot play with, this kind of influential behavior just to plunder others, property, others' riches, so that we can, account on ourselves, have our inner responsibility, so that we can have our inner peace, and bring about inner resilience to be what or who we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bakunda. Now, I was looking into the panel. If there is a question, I would like to. One question. I think Professor will be ready for one question, and then if there is no more question, I'm going to invite our last presenter of the day, actually, which means that our program will have to come to an end. So is there any question, first of all, before we move to the next presenter? No, I don't see any. So thank you again for your patience. I know it has been long. It's a long day. So let me invite Mr. Bosco, who is going to present to us what he has written in his book. Nobody knows what happened in Rwanda. The hope and horror in 1994 genocide. I have to remind him that the presentation takes only 5 minutes and there is only one question. So, Mr. Bosco.
Oh, thank you, my dear friends and brother Achaste Gahunde. As you just suggested, my name is Jean-Jacques Bosco, or Jean-Jacques Bosco in English version. You can also name me in that way. So I wrote this book. It's called Nobody Knows What Happened in Rwanda, Hope and Horror in the 1994 Genocide. So the title actually means as follows. Rwandans, whether Tutsi or Hutu, when they try to count their story, they try to blame the other, which means even those who write books on Rwanda through either a Hutu or a Tutsi, they will be biased, which means out there are tons of, I can call, garbage books, which doesn't tell the truth. In other words, no one knows what happened in Rwanda. Most importantly, because Rwanda has 10 provinces, I can call it préfecture in French, which means someone who was in Butare or in Kibungo or in the far western province of Cyangugu or far north in Ruengeri or Gisenyi will only know what happened in his own corner. So therefore, the title is Nobody Knows What Happened in Rwanda. And I can take this opportunity to thank all the people who bought my book, because I sold brilliantly over 1,500 copies, which doesn't happen. So other than that, thank you very much for having me on this show, like this festival on books written by Rwandans on Rwanda. And once again, I am indebted to you, to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean-Jacques Bosco, and you have been indeed short. So I'm going to ask if there is any question, and if not, I'm going to ask.
You try to mean short in terms of height, or short in terms
short
of
in
what?
time. Short in time. Short in time. Yes. I see two people in the panel who have raised their hands. So let me start by Celestin. Both are called Celestin. So let me start by Mr. Sejum.
Pierre, Celestin, and Celestine. So T for me.
Yeah. So let us start by
French and English.
Mr. Sejum. Yeah. One question. You are on mute.
Yes. I thank you for giving me the floor, allowing me to speak on this on the book of written by Jean-Jacques Bosco. I have read this book and I liked this book, but I wonder why he thinks that a Hutu or a Tutsi telling his story would always be biased, because when I read his book, I didn't see any bias. Or perhaps he wanted to say that anyone of the Hutu or Tutsi would want to tell the story from his vantage point. It does not mean biased. Can he comment on that one? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Jean-Jacques.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Celestine Nsengiyumva, the man I respect very much. I read your 4 books, however, as you just said, I read your all 4 books. I have them here, and I'm assisting him as well to sell this book, which is called The African Great Lakes Region, Political Violence and the Long Trail of Refugee to America. This is I found this very fascinating. I'm helping him to sell this book, which is the cost in Canadian currency, $17. So, as you just asked the question, actually you did answer to your question by yourself. That's true. In other words, when a Hutu or a Tutsi writes a book, they all try to portray the book through their own advantages. So that's correct. It's a fair assessment. Number 2, thank you very much. My book, I tend to say it's non-biased. That's why I ended up by selling 1,500 copies, because everybody, whether Black, white, and Canadian, Rwandans, Burundians, even Ukrainians, when they read the book, they say it's amazing. It's amazing. So why I did that? I wrote this book over 25 years. First of all, 25 years ago, I didn't know how to speak English, period. And then I had to go to school in order to acquire 3 university degrees in order to write in English, simply because I knew that the Anglo-Saxon region, Anglo-Saxon means like people who speaks English in tandem. They didn't know what happened in Rwanda, and they were always fed by what I call a garbage information. So that's correct. And finally, you know what? When we speak and talk, we tend to be a little bit exaggerating as Rwandan we do. We are sometimes extreme. I read a book written by a lady. She's now in a prominent position worldwide. She wrote a book. In her book, everything is said to Hutu. It's like Hutu are evil people. Nothing else dilute that. It's just pure that. I read another book from a Hutu who lives in Belgium, exactly the same. So that's why I came up with this, because I took a back seat. It means the back seat means myself, when I start to draft my first manuscript, man, I insulted everyone and everything, birds, people, whatever. So, but after that, I took a back seat, means I was detached from those emotional thinking. I came up with this. Nobody knows what happened once. Thank you, Mr. Celestine, my big brother. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know whether you have answered. For me, I think you didn't answer actually. Okay, it's up to
he has done his best.
I don't think.
Shast, I would like to commend him
Yes.
for the actions, the initiatives he took to facilitate the escape of ethnic Tutsi.
Yes.
While he was at school in the northwest of Rwanda. So I want to commend him and to congratulate him on these humanitarian actions he took personally, endangering his own life to facilitate the escape of fellow students.
Fellow students and fellow Rwandans.
Thank you.
It was so courageous of him, and I think he deserves to be congratulated. Actually, I wish all Rwandans would have behaved the same way, and now we would be talking about a different story. So now let us give the floor to Mr. Bakunda.
Okay, thank you, Shast.
So, I wasn't crying. I was just felt like flattered. Thank you.
I think the title of the book suggests some interrogations about whether nobody really knows what happened, because the planners know exactly what happened. Unless Mr. Jean-Jacques Bosco would complete the title saying Nobody knows what happened in Rwanda apart from myself or somebody else, like Bill Clinton, like Museveni, like Kagame, because all planners know or knew that what happened would happen because it happened. Yeah. So they have a kind of map, how things went on and how they succeeded their coup. Okay, they know that. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think it could bring a lot of discussion here, and it's a matter of point of view. Maybe the planners knew or didn't know, because sometimes you plan, you make a planning, but you don't know the outcome. Sometimes the outcome actually goes beyond what you expected. So
Right.
I'm not the planner. I'm not the planner. So all I
Yeah,
see is
neither the perpetrator.
yeah.
So you are just a bystander. So now here the question, bro. Don't forget about Jean Damascene Rugomboka.
Is he here?
He's not in, but we can quickly talk about his presentation he was supposed to present. Probably he may have gotten some
No,
difficulty.
I don't have anything from him. I didn't have.
Okay, so basically, let me. I mean, I was a guest in this show, but because we have to be fair, so Mr. Jean Damascene Rugomboka, he's an author of this book. It's called Carte des sites du génocide et des massacres au Rwanda, analyse des données et cartographie par Jean Damascene Rugomboka. Et le livre est disponible donc dans les éditions.
We are speaking. We are in English, sir. We are in English. We are in English.
Okay, yes. So the title is also available, I think, in English. But here, I have to just restate the facts. Probably we may call it like carte de site du génocide rwandais. Anyway, it's just like a mapping card about the site in Rwanda where genocide has been perpetrated by all the involved parties. And this was analysis of data of cartography by Jean Damascene Rugomboka. And the book is available under the publishing company or publishing house called Scribe. And so the book is not that big, but is condensed because it's more likely, it's succinct actually. It shows you the district, the area, the time where people were killed by either RPF or other delinquent Rwandans. And it's also attached with a big map, which is also very descriptive. So that's what I can talk about this gentleman. So thank you.
I wanted to add something about, first of all, I have to congratulate you because you created a channel that we call the Man of the Moon. And I think if you had asked me to give you an advice about the title of your channel, I would suggest you to call it The Man of the Ground. But don't be influenced. Continue your idea. But I think you should have said the man of the ground, and rather than we're in the circumference, we mean this kind of you come from the moon down and then. But if you are the man of the ground, you see what I mean. You see, that means you are umusangwa butaka.
Yeah, a big brother, I got it, and you know what? It's always, there is always a room for improvement. So thank you for that fabulous and great comments. And again, I always get inspired by you guys, big brothers, including also young brothers like Charles Gahunde. That is why we are here for this beautiful and wonderful festival on the book Thanks a lot, Chaste Gahunde, and the whole audience.
Yes. So actually, we were expecting to see Mr. Rugomboka here, but fair enough, you have delivered his message about his book, and now we are getting to the to an end. Our program is touching its end. On our panel, I see Mr. Ambrose. I would like to give him 2 minutes so that he give us what he's feeling and what did he see in this initiative, what he observed, or maybe if he had give us an advice for the next chapters. Ambrose?
Okay, Gahunde, I didn't know that you're going to give me space to say something.
It's not just big, just a small, because now we still have 2 minutes, so if you can use it.
Put this way, this gentleman was a presenter in Kinyarwanda version. He kept assisting us even in French version. So after 3 hours, we owe you some tribute, some respect.
Some recognition, yes.
Some recognition, thank you.
Okay, shall I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, me commenting about the initiative, it's a great thing. It's the first time something like this, I think, happened. You should be supported to pursue what you started. And in that field of books, there are many things which could be done. No? And one area, for example, you could broaden your horizon in terms of initiative is today you focused on Rwandans who wrote about Rwanda. Maybe next time you could bring on board Rwandans who wrote about other things not necessarily about Rwanda, because that way you will be bringing Rwandan writers into the world, the broader sphere of world writers. We Rwandans all the time, we think that we are the world. When we talk about Rwanda, it's as if there's nothing else outside Rwanda. So my idea, my interest would be to help Rwandan writers to broaden their reach, and not necessarily aiming to Rwandans, but the world audience about their talents, their skills into imagining the world. That's my take on today's initiative.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. Thank you very much. And first of all, let me tell you that very soon we are organizing a chapter on foreigners who wrote about Rwanda. So it will not take long. And then after, we take more initiatives that bring together all the writers or the authors, so that we can collaborate, we can work together just to promote this culture of writing, reading, and everything that is related to the books. So thank you very much to you all. Thank you for responding yes to our invitation. And I hope we see you very soon. Bye-bye.